Hi everyone, it's Danielle with Northlawn Flower Farms. Today I'm making an arrangement for our dining room table, and I thought you just might like to join me out here in the garden today while I create something. As always, I'm designing with my grandma's antique pin frog. And if you've never used a pin frog before, I really would encourage you to pick one up and give them a try. It really is a wonderful skill to practice, and it gives you a lot of room to create a loose garden feel. So the structural foliage that I'm using today is Vitex. And my initial thought for this arrangement was that it was going to be an all green arrangement, but you'll see here in a bit that I changed my mind. This greenery is King's Gold False Cypress, which is an evergreen and just lasts forever in the vase, literally over a month. I kind of wanted to be the backstory foliage because this Vitex is so bold. And I'm adding in some Limetime Coleus now, which is a nice bright pop of color, and I almost feel like it functions as a flower in a way. I really like to add things that spill out of the vessel. I think that gives a nice, abundant feel to an arrangement. Now I'm adding in some Limelight Hydrangeas. And although I absolutely love Limelight Hydrangeas, I sometimes find that they can be overpowering in an arrangement. So I often pick smaller blossoms, and I'm very careful with where I place them. Now I'm adding in my all-time favorite perennial for cutting. It's called Obediant Plant. And when we first moved to our property about 4.5 years ago, there was absolutely no flowers at all. All the borders that you see in my garden are only 4 years old. But my neighbor stopped by with a garbage bag full of Obedient Plant, which didn't look like anything at the time. And she warned me that it spread very vigorously. Well, of course, I only half believed her, but I should have fully believed her because it is quite vigorous. But I'm incredibly thankful to have it. It looks like a snapdragon, in my opinion, and it blooms here for me in 6B early to mid-September. Since this arrangement is going to go on our dining room table, I want to make sure that both the front, the back, and the sides all look good. Now I'm going to be adding in some feverfew, and this is my second flush of feverfew, and it's not really usable for my farm stand anymore. The branches really just aren't long enough. But for creating something for inside our home, they're still great. Now I'm going to add in some envy zinnia, and I originally was thinking that the envy zinnia would be the star of this arrangement, and that, as I say, it would be predominantly green, but well, you know, things change when you get out there harvesting in the garden. I really think that if I just grew one zinnia, it would be envy. It's always usable, no matter what other colors you're working with. Now I'm going to be adding in this awesome sedum called Lemon Jade sedum. And I think I purchased 3 of these plants last season, and I've since divided them into about 20. And this sedum, unlike others that you're probably familiar with, like Autumn Joy that turn pink, Lemon Jade stays green, so I find it a lot more useful later in the season. Also, it dries wonderfully. Now I'm going to add in something that I would only use here in our home, and it's the blooms from Lirope. It doesn't hold very long or very well in the vase, but I loved the color, so I decided to add just a few stems. The problem with Lirope, very much like something like verbena, is that it sheds if you don't pick it at the absolute perfect time. So really, it's something I use only for us. Now I'm adding in some perennial aster. And you'll see, at first when I put it in, it's too tall. I always like my arrangements to dip low in the middle. I'm not sure why, it's just kind of become my style, so I'm just tucking him into the center. Now I'm adding in Kilimanjaro Marigold, which I think really is what will be the star of the arrangement at the end of the day. I'm going to add in quite a few of them. I love the smell of marigolds, do you? I don't want anything with a really straight stem for this arrangement. I want this arrangement to feel alive, that it's growing, that it's moving. I just love that. If you just saw that, that was Rocky jumping down from my work table because he likes to come and take a drink out of my water buckets as I'm designing. I'm feeling like it's really coming together now, and I just want to add in a few more things spilling. I learned something from Kiana Underwood a few years back, which is if you don't like the way a stem looks when you put it in, alter it. So you see that feverfew wasn't working for me in some ways, but instead of pulling the whole stem out, I just cut off what I wasn't liking. And I felt like the arrangement needed a little more weight on the one side, so I went ahead and picked another Limelight Hydrangea, and I think that was the right choice. Just a few more marigolds, and I think we'll be finished. The sun is really coming out now, and so are the butterflies. Well, there she is. Thanks so much for joining me out here in the garden today. And until next time, happy gardening. Bye.